Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So if you're new here, my name's Travis, and me and my wife Casey are working on turning our house into a homestead. We've got a lot of different projects that we've got in the pipe for things we're doing around here. Some of them are just like remodeling, trying to make the house a little bit nicer to live in and flow a little better. But other things, like what we're gonna do today, are more about being prepared. And so we're very driven to be self-sufficient and not have to rely on anybody. And so one of those things that we've really wanted to get for a long time has been a freeze dryer. And you might have seen our last video where we actually got it unpacked, and then realized that we need to do a lot of electrical work to make sure it was safe to use. So we've got the electrical done, and now I'm going to put it all together, get it all tested out, and we will start running some batches of food through it. So freeze-dried food is pretty awesome. It's got a 25-year shelf life if it's been properly packaged after it was freeze-dried, and it'll just be a lot nicer to freeze-dry the foods we want, maybe in different quantities than we would have to purchase from the store. It's also a lot cheaper to do it yourself, although the machine itself is not very cheap at all. So we got a Harvest Right medium freeze dryer, and worked on a bunch of electrical to get an outlet. It needs its own 20 amp circuit to run on. And so now I'm gonna get the pump filled up with oil and hooked up to the machine. And then it's got a little test cycle that it can run. And then we're gonna see about getting some food in it and getting it freeze dried. So I went ahead and I already leveled this. The table that it's sitting on has a little bit of slope back to it. So I added some shims under the back and made sure it was nice and level. Now, I want to make sure that where I'm going to put stuff is going to actually reach the electrical outlet. So I'm going to try to see if I can get the cord over there. It looks like it'll fit. Reach. Yep, it will. I'm going to hold off on plugging it in until I'm sure that it's all filled up with oil, because I'm going to do that on top of the table instead of on the ground. Okay, comes with a hose to connect the pump to the machine, power cord to connect the machine to the freeze dryer to power. The pump already has a cord on it. Looks like getting it dirty already. This looks pretty long. It'll reach for sure. Okay. According to the directions, we're supposed to fill it with 25 ounces of oil. And it just so happens to come with 25 ounces of oil. So I'm gonna get a funnel. That's not gonna be fun. We'll have to do this two-handed. this reach? So I'd like to have the pump down there, but I don't think that's going to reach without it being stretched tight or too short. Gas ballast, that's what it is. It says right here on this piece of paper that's zip tied to it. The gas ballast must always be open for the pump to work properly. Well, I think that might work just fine. Probably bring the pump back a little just so that there's not any tension on that. They say you don't have to tighten that down with anything. You can just hand tighten it or maybe very gently tighten it with pliers. We'll see if it leaks first before we tighten it with anything else. And that's it. That should be fully set up. Now, there's an on switch on the pump and there's an on switch on the freeze dryer. Where's my instructions? Okay. Check the rubber door gasket, make sure it's clean, done. Mostly. Okay, let's turn on the vacuum pump. I have to make sure we close the drain valve on the Hi.
Did you get him? Yeah.
Yeah, she loves her mama. Okay, so now that we've got the pump or the drain valve for the freeze dryer closed, should I turn on the pump again? Can't feel any leaks for the drain valve. Oh yeah, it's creating a good seal there. Well, let's turn on the freeze dryer. And we have to perform a quick test to ensure that it is set up properly. So we've let it freeze for 30 minutes or more. The trays are at 13 degrees. So that's working. So we turn the vacuum on. And we have to turn the vacuum pump on down here. And it's currently at 66,000 mTOR. And I have no idea what an mTOR signifies, but says do this for 20 to 30 minutes. The pressure reading will decrease until it is below 500 mTOR. When this occurs, the test is successful. Press done. So we'll give this a 20 minutes and see what the pressure gets down to. All right, guys, I skipped ahead a couple steps because the steps were kind of boring, but we finished the test. Everything worked great. It says to run a loaf of bread through to kind of pick up all of the odors that like the new car smell or whatever. And so we've done that. We started it. It freezes for 15 minutes or until it gets down to 32 degrees, and then pops up this message that says load food into freeze dryer and close the drain valve. So we'll make sure the drain valve's closed. Do not mix frozen food with non-frozen food. And let me go grab the bread. All right, here we go. Okay, close the door. Click continue. And now it's freezing. So it'll freeze for a while, and then it'll actually turn on the pump itself. Let me show you something. I was putting this together a little bit wrong. So when we were looking at the pump yesterday, that power cord that's on the back of the pump, I was running over to the actual outlet over here, and that's not the case. So the power cord for the pump actually goes up and plugs into the back of the freeze dryer right there. And what that does is that allows the freeze dryer to control when the pump turns on and off. And I couldn't figure out how it was doing that. So yeah, that's how it does that. Okay, so we're gonna let this freeze dry. If anything weird happens, I will show it to you guys, but otherwise I'll show it to you when we're done. All right, guys, this thing finished right before I have to go to work. But what we have to do now, says process complete, open the drain valve to vent. We need a little bucket to catch any water. So over here on the left-hand side, that little drain valve right there is what we need to open. It's got a little hose that goes on it, which of course is inside. Open this. Make sure it's not in any water, because it's basically sucking air. Now that that's done, we can open the door. And check our stuff. Oh, it's freeze dried all right. No moisture. Perfect. We're not eating this, we're saving it. This is all just to get the odors out. So we'll pull these out, and then we tell it, we can leave the door open and just say no defrost and it'll shut off. We'll let it defrost, leaving the door open, and then tonight we can start another batch. Woohoo, this is exciting. All right guys, our very first batch is complete. So, we gotta drain the thing. Oh, it's already drained. Okay. That's why we've got so much condensation. Because when it let the vacuum pressure off, it the seal. Okay. Let's check and see if it's done.
Do you need to select defrost or no defrost or anything like that?
We need to check and see how they are. Might need more time.
Well, they got moisture back in them or something?
Well, check these out. Those will probably need more time. That is saltwater taffy, Tootsie Rolls, Starburst, and oranges. Oh, weird. Or cuties, I should say.
Yeah, not done.
Good. More dry time. Drain valve. Take a look. So we tried doing some cuties. I don't think we'll do those again. They turned out, they just wouldn't get dry in the middle. Did some strawberries. We did some candies. We showed you those a little. We already ate some of them. And then more strawberries, blackberries, and blueberries. So which ones didn't turn out well?
Well, the blackberries also didn't get dry, and the blueberries are sticking to the tray, and so they don't want to come off the tray very easily without breaking.
Yeah.
So, but they taste fine.
It tastes fine. They taste like sticky, like they didn't
Like they
fully dry. Like
dry.
these don't taste sticky. Like they don't feel sticky at all.
Yeah, the strawberries turned out really, really well, and they're so yummy that they're hard to stay out of.
Yeah, that's very true.